The battlefield was quiet now. The smoke was still rising from the black ground. Broken machines and burned trees were all around. The sky was dark, even though it was daytime. Fires burned in the distance, and the wind smelled like metal and blood. Jake lay in the dirt, bleeding. His leg was crushed under a fallen metal wall. His arm was broken. His armor was burned. He had no gun, no food, no water. His radio was dead. He was the last soldier left from his unit. He tried to move, but pain shot through his whole body. He screamed. Then, he stopped moving. "I'm going to die here," he whispered. He looked up at the gray sky. His eyes were heavy. He knew the enemy would come back soon. The alien army that had attacked Earth. Strange creatures, with bright skin and sharp weapons. No one knew where they came from. No one knew what they wanted, but Jake had seen them. He had fought them. He had killed some. And now they had won. His breath slowed. The pain was turning into cold. Then, something strange happened. A soft light appeared in the sky. It wasn't fire. It wasn't a ship. It was a slow-moving glow, almost like a star falling to the ground. Jake blinked. Was he dreaming? The light got closer. It moved like it was searching for something. Then, it stopped, right above him, suddenly. It dropped fast, landing just a few feet away from his body. Jake turned his head with effort. His eyes widened. It was a girl, but not a normal girl. She was glowing like soft blue fire. Her skin was silver and smooth. Her hair floated in the air, moving slowly as if underwater. Her eyes were big, round, and shining like two small moons. She knelt beside him. Her hand reached out but didn't touch him. Jake tried to speak, but he couldn't. Then he heard a voice inside his mind. "You are dying," the voice said gently, "but I can save you. If you let me in." Jake's heart raced. He looked at her. Her lips didn't move. The voice was coming from her, but through his thoughts. "What are you?" he asked weakly. His voice barely a whisper. "I am not your enemy," the voice said. "I escaped the war. I do not fight anymore. I only bond." "Bond?" Jake asked. She nodded slowly. "My people can connect minds. It is deep, it is painful, but it saves life. If I bond with you, you will live." Jake coughed. Blood came from his mouth. His head was spinning. "Why would you help me?" he asked. The alien girl looked into his eyes. There was no hate there, only sadness. "Because I cannot watch another soul die alone," she said. Jake closed his eyes. The pain was too much now. His chest felt heavy. "If you do this," he whispered, "what happens to me?" "You will live," she said. "But you will see my memories, my pain, my truth, and I will see yours." Jake opened his eyes. The sky was darker now. The fires around were fading. Will it hurt? Yes, but only the first time. He thought of his family, his little sister, his mother's smile, the girl he loved and lost. He thought of the war, the screams, the orders, the mistake he made. He looked at the alien girl. "Do it," he said. She placed her hand on his forehead. The light grew brighter. Everything shook. His mind screamed. Then silence. Jake's body rose from the ground. His wounds closed. His eyes turned white for a second, then back to normal. The girl fell beside him, tired. And in his mind, he saw it. Her world. Her pain. Her truth. Asterisk. Jake opened his eyes. He wasn't on the battlefield anymore. He was floating, not flying. Floating inside a memory, but it wasn't his. A sky of purple clouds swirled above him. Twin moons lit up a silver ocean below. Strange mountains floated in the air like islands. Tall creatures walked under a glowing sun, speaking in a language that had no words, only thoughts. And in the middle of it all stood her. The alien girl. But here, she wasn't glowing. She was young, maybe just a child. Her skin shimmered. Like pearl, her eyes were full of wonder. She laughed, running through soft blue grass with others like her. Jake felt her emotions, joy, freedom, love. Then, everything changed. The sky turned red. Ships rained down from above. Screams filled the air. Fires spread. A deep, loud voice shouted commands in a strange language. And then, silence. The girl stood alone. Her home was gone. Jake gasped and opened his eyes again. He was back on the battlefield, lying in a small cave under broken rocks, next to a fire made from burning wires and old tech, and she was sitting across from him, watching, alive, still glowing. But weaker now. You saw it, she said softly. My beginning. Jake nodded. Slowly, his head still ached. His body felt strange, stronger, but not the same. What was that? He asked. She looked at the fire. My memory, it is inside you now, part of the bond. Jake tried to sit up. Pain returned, but not like before. He could move now, your world. It was beautiful, he said. She smiled, a small sad smile. It's gone, she said. My people destroyed it. Our leaders turned on us. They said we must conquer or die. I refused. So they hunted me too. Jake stared at her. You were one of them, he said slowly. She nodded. I was a soldier. Like you, I followed orders. Until I saw what we were doing, I ran. He looked at her closely now. Her eyes were cold like the enemy soldiers he had seen in war. They were tired, full of pain. What's your name? He asked. She blinked. My true name cannot be spoken in your tongue, she said. But you can call me Lyra. Lyra, Jake repeated. He paused. And I'm Jake. I know, she said quietly. I saw your memories too. Jake froze. What did you see? He asked, his voice low. She looked at him, not with anger, not with fear, but with understanding. The village, she whispered. The bomb, the children. Jake looked away, ashamed. I didn't know they were there, he said. I was told it was an enemy base. Lyra didn't speak for a moment. I know, she said softly. That is why I bonded with you. Because you carry pain, and not hate. Jake looked at her again. You saw everything? She nodded. And you saw mine. For a long moment, they sat in silence. Two enemies. Now bound by something neither could fully control. Then Jake asked, what happens now? Lyra stood up. Her body glowed brighter again. Now they will come for us, both your kind and mine, Jake frowned. What do you mean? The bond left a signal, she said. My people will feel it. They will track us. And the humans. They will not believe you trusted one of us. Jake clenched his fists. So we run? He asked. No, she said. We survive. Jake stood beside her now. His legs still shook, but he was ready. Then let's move, he said. But as they stepped out of the cave, a new sound echoed through the valley, the deep, humming noise of a scanner drone. Red lights flashed in the distance. They were already being hunted. The rain fell without a sound, but Jake could hear everything, not with his ears, but inside his mind. A child crying. A woman shouting a name. The sound of engines. The silence after the explosion. He opened his eyes. He wasn't in the forest anymore. He was standing in the middle of a burned-out village, one he had tried to forget for years. The houses were broken. The trees were ash. And in the center, a single broken doll lay in the mud. Jake froze. No, he whispered. Not this, not again. Footsteps behind him. He turned. Lyra was there. She didn't speak. She didn't have to. This wasn't a dream. This was his memory, and now she was inside it. Jake wanted to run, to hide, to shout at her to leave. But he couldn't. The bond wouldn't let him. She looked around at the destruction. I thought it was a weapon site, Jake said quietly, almost to himself. We were ordered to fire from the air. It was supposed to be enemy storage. She looked at the doll. You didn't see them? She asked. Jake shook his head slowly. His eyes were wet. I saw movement. I thought they were soldiers. We fired anyway. He turned to her. I tried to tell command after. They told me to forget it. Said it was classified. Said it never happened. Lyra stepped forward. But it did happen, she said. And now I feel it. Jake fell to his knees. His hands trembled. I see them in my dreams, he said. Every night. I see that little girl standing by the river, looking up just before the fire came. Lyra knelt beside him. You are not a monster, she said. You are a soldier. You followed orders. But you did not forget. That is why I trusted you. Jake looked into her eyes. But why show me your pain if it only brings more of mine? Because only through pain, she said, can we understand each other. Suddenly, Jake's vision shifted again. Now he was standing inside a tall white tower. Alien symbols glowed on the walls. A council of elders sat in floating chairs. And in front of them, a younger Lyra, wearing dark armor, her head held high. A voice boomed. You question the mission? Lyra replied calmly but firmly. I question the purpose. Why do we invade a world that did nothing to us? Gasps. You speak against the bond, said another elder. You betray the Great Link. No, Lyra said. I honor it. Because I feel their fear, their pain, just like ours. We are not different. Only scared. The elders rose in anger. One pointed at her. Then you are no longer one of us. Then I will walk alone, she said. The memory faded. Jake came back to his senses, now lying beside Lyra inside a broken transport ship, hiding from the scanner drones. His breathing was heavy. I didn't know what you gave up, he said softly. I gave up everything, Lyra replied. My home, my name, my kind. She looked at him. And now? So have you. Jake didn't answer. Outside, the sound of engines grew louder. Red lights moved past the ship's broken window. Lyra stood slowly. They're close. Jake grabbed his rifle. His hands were steady again. Then we move, together. Lyra nodded. But just before they left, she looked at him one more time. You know the bond is not just memories, she said. It's deeper than that. Jake raised an eyebrow. How deep? She paused. It will change you, she said. And not just in your mind. Jake stared at her. He didn't fully understand yet, but something inside him had already started to shift. And far above them, in orbit, a command ship received a signal. Target located. The bonded pair has been found. Asterisk. The sky was bleeding fire. Jake ran through the burning forest, his lungs screaming, the ground shaking with every step. Behind him, the trees exploded in bursts of red light, human drones. Not alien. His own side was hunting him now. Lyra was ahead of him, her body flickering like a broken light. She was weak. Her energy was fading fast. We're almost there, she said inside his mind. Where? Jake shouted, jumping over a broken root. You'll see. They burst through the final line of trees, and then Jake stopped. His eyes widened. There, half buried in the side of a cliff, was a massive alien structure. Half ship, half building. It looked like a crashed temple made of dark glass and steel. Vines grew over its surface, hiding its shape from above. Jake stared. What is that? Lyra looked back. The last place they won't look. She pressed her hand to a small stone in the rock wall. A hum echoed. The ground beneath them shifted. A platform rose up, taking them inside. As the door closed behind them, the outside sounds vanished. Silence. Only the soft hum of old alien tech remained. Jake looked around. They were in a large hallway with glowing lines across the floor. Broken machines lined the walls. Everything felt ancient. This was a sky fortress? He asked. Lyra nodded. Before the war. Before we fell. They moved deeper inside. As they passed an open chamber, Jake saw strange chairs, empty pods, and one wall filled with symbols and star maps. Jake paused. What is this place really? Lyra touched the wall. Her hand glowed, and the maps began to shift. It was a piece. Station, she said. Long ago, before the fighting began. This place was made for one purpose, bonding between species. Understanding. Unity. Jake stared at the glowing maps. What happened? Lyra looked at him. We stopped listening. Suddenly, alarms screamed through the fortress. Lights flashed red. Jake grabbed his rifle. How did they find us? Lyra's face turned pale. It wasn't them. It's the fortress. It's waking up. From the other end of the corridor, a massive door opened, and something stepped through. A machine. No. A guardian. Tall, with 4 legs and glowing eyes. Not alive, but not dead either. It scanned the room and locked onto them. Unknown bond detected. A deep robotic voice said. State purpose. Jake stepped in front of Lyra. We're not here to fight. The machine began charging energy. In its arms, unauthorized pair. Threat detected. Prepare for memory scan, Lyra shouted. Wait, I am of the Lyralef caste. Code 6 Tau. We seek refuge, not war. The machine paused. Its eyes flickered. Then, it lowered its arms. Code. Accepted. Refuge granted. Limited time. Exit before next cycle. Jake let out a breath. Lyra looked at him. It knows I'm bonded. But it won't let us stay long. This place is set to collapse soon. Jake followed her deeper into the fortress. The walls began to show new images, humans and aliens standing side by side. Not fighting. Sharing. Jake touched one of the images. This place was trying to build something better. Lyra nodded, but both sides wanted control, not peace. They feared the bond, feared what it could do. Jake turned to her. And what can it do? Lyra hesitated. Then, softly, it can unlock what's hidden, change what's broken, rebuild what was lost. She stepped closer. But only if the bond is strong. Jake met her eyes. Then we hold it. Suddenly, another alarm blared. Human voices came over the fortress speakers. This is Recon Unit 4. We found the alien structure. Prepare to breach. Jake froze. His own people had arrived. They were going to storm the fortress and kill anyone inside. Lyra looked at him. If they find me, they'll destroy me. If they find you with me, they'll never trust you again. Jake gripped his rifle, thinking fast. Then we're not going to let them find anything. He ran to the control panel. Can you make this place vanish again? Lyra shook her head. Not for long. Jake glanced at the power core behind the wall. He had an idea. A dangerous one. We collapse the entry tunnel. Lock the inside. Let them think it's empty. Lyra looked unsure. You'll trap yourself in here. Jake smiled. I already jumped into your mind. This is nothing. She stared at him. Then nodded. Together, they activated the lockdown. The walls shook. The entry tunnel collapsed. Outside, soldiers found only a dead rock. Inside. Jake and Lyra sat in silence, hidden for now, but in orbit above Earth. An alien warship turned. Slowly, its scanners flashing red. They knew where the bond was, and they were coming. The stars were not still. Jake stood in a quiet chamber inside the fortress, staring up at a ceiling of artificial sky. Stars moved slowly across it, but not randomly. They were recordings. Paths, routes, histories. This isn't the sky. Jake whispered. It's a map. Lyra stood beside him, her eyes fixed on a cluster of stars glowing red. That's Earth sector, she said. But it's not marked as a homeworld. It's marked as a lab. Jake turned sharply. What? Lyra raised her hand, and part of the sky rippled. A hidden layer of the map appeared, showing glowing lines. Hundreds of them, connecting Earth to other systems. Your people didn't come from nowhere, she said quietly. You were found. Jake stepped back. No, that's not true. Lyra looked at him. Your species was touched long ago. Before memory, before history, our kind visited. We altered things, observed, studied. Jake clenched his fists. That's not what they teach us. Of course not, she said. Do you think your leaders would ever share a truth that makes you less special, less in control? Jake stared at the map, heart racing. So this war he began was never about territory, Lyra finished. It was about a failed project. One they thought they could destroy before it became a threat. He turned to her. You mean we're the threat? No, she said softly. The bond is. She stepped closer, her voice low. When one of us bonds with a human, something changes. Minds open, walls fall. Pain becomes shared and power multiplies. Jake looked down at his hands. He remembered how he had healed, how his mind felt sharper, how dreams became memories, not just his, but hers too. And that's what they fear, he whispered. A human who thinks like you, and an alien who feels like me. Lyra nodded. Suddenly, the walls of the chamber flashed red. A new voice echoed across the room. Unauthorized access. Memory seal broken, alerting primary intelligence. Lyra's face turned pale. We triggered a beacon. Jake reached for his weapon. What kind of beacon? Lyra looked up. The kind that doesn't send soldiers. It sends judges. Above Earth, a rift opened in space. A smooth, dark ship slipped out. Black as shadow, silent as death. It had no lights, no weapons visible. But every living thing near it felt a chill. Inside it, a being with no face turned its head slowly. The bond has matured, it whispered. Begin evaluation. Back in the fortress, Jake and Lyra were already packing gear, moving fast. Jake's voice was tight. If they come, can we fight them? Lyra didn't answer right away. Then, no. But we can hide what we've learned. They entered a hidden chamber deep beneath the main structure. Lyra opened a sealed container. Inside was a small orb, glowing softly. Jake leaned in. What is it? A memory core, she said. From before the war. It contains every truth about Earth, the bonds, the early experiments. And what was erased from your species' minds? Jake blinked. You mean they took memories from us? Lyra nodded. Your kind has been rewritten more than once. The stories you believe were never yours to begin with. Jake stared at the orb. We can't let this fall into anyone's hands. Lyra touched his chest. Then we don't hide it. She placed the orb against his skin. It melted in, disappearing under the surface. Jake gasped. What did you just do? I bonded it to you, she said. Now you carry the truth. Inside your blood, inside your mind. Jake stumbled. Visions flashed. Ancient cities, glowing skies, alien councils arguing in circles. Children born with powers, human rebellions. In space long forgotten, he dropped to his knees, gasping. Lyra knelt beside him. I'm sorry, she whispered. But now, you are the proof. Jake looked up at her. I didn't want to be part of a war. You're not, she said. You're part of a memory war. The fight to remember what was stolen. Outside, the sky cracked again. The judgeship was getting closer. And Jake, now carrying the entire hidden history of mankind, was about to become its target. Jake couldn't breathe. But it wasn't his lungs. It was his mind. Visions. Thousands of them, spinning inside him like a storm. Voices from centuries ago. Names he never knew. Cities that didn't exist anymore. Secrets that weren't meant to survive. He grabbed the wall of the corridor, eyes wide, sweat running down his face. I can't. Hold it, he whispered. Lyra rushed to his side. Her glow was flickering now. Her fingers touched his temple, and the noise inside him slowed, but only for a second. Jake backed away. Lyra, what's happening to me? Her voice was calm, but her eyes were scared. The orb is rewriting your memory structure, she said. It's not just showing you the past, it's making space for it. Jake stared at her. You mean, it's erasing parts of me? She didn't answer. He slammed his hand against the wall. Answer me. Lyra looked down. Yes, it's deleting non-essential memory. Random things. A teacher's voice. A dog's name. A laugh you heard as a child. Small things. But still yours. Jake's voice cracked. And what happens when it takes more? She whispered. Then it takes me too. He froze. What? She looked up at him. Her eyes weren't glowing now. They were glassy, weak. You and I are bonded, Jake. Everything that affects you touches me too. He stepped forward, realization sinking in. You're fading. She nodded. You weren't supposed to hold this much pain. My kind evolved for this, but humans. You weren't ready. Jake stared at her, glowing less by the minute, breath slower, shoulders shaking, and he felt it too. The bond was breaking, not from mistrust, not from fear, but from too much truth. Jake's voice was rough. Then take it back. I can't. She whispered. It's part of you now. I gave it willingly. I can't ungive it. Silence. Outside the fortress, thunder roared across the sky. But it wasn't a storm. It was the judge ship, now fully above Earth. Inside it, a faceless entity floated in silence. It was not a leader, not a warrior. It was a decision maker, a living weapon of ancient law, and it had locked on to Jake's location. Bonded human anomaly detected. Verdict in progress. Destroy or absorb. Back underground, Jake stared at his shaking hands. They're coming, aren't they? Lyra nodded. Not to fight, not to argue. Just to end you. Jake took a breath. Then we don't run this time. She looked at him. You can't stop them. No, Jake said. But I can show them what I've seen. Lyra's eyes widened. You want a bond? With the judge? If it can read minds, let it read mine. Let it feel you. Let it see what we've become. She stepped back. Jake, no human has ever touched the mind of a judge. Their minds are too large, too cold. It could crush you in seconds. He gave her a shaky smile. I'm already breaking. What's a few more pieces? He stepped to the center of the fortress, opened his mind, and called out. In orbit. The judge paused. The human had initiated a mental link. Not possible. Not allowed. Not. Bond accepted. A scream echoed through space. Jake's body slammed to the ground. His eyes turned white. His mind filled with everything. Planets, species, ancient decisions, forgotten laws. The first bond ever formed, and the first betrayal. The judge felt Jake's guilt, his shame. His love, his choice to carry truth, even when it hurt. And then it saw Lyra. Her memories, her pain, her defiance, her love. The judge, for the first time in thousands of years, paused. Verdict. Delayed. Subject. Anomaly. Bonded pair not classified as threat. Recalculating purpose. Jake collapsed. Lyra rushed to his side. He was pale, barely breathing. She held his face. Jake, come back. He opened his eyes just barely. They saw us, he whispered. Not just the war, us. She nodded, eyes full of light. You did it. Then. She winced. Blood leaked from her nose. Her glow flickered again. Jake sat up suddenly. You're still fading. She smiled weakly. Bond isn't breaking anymore. It's just burning too bright. Jake held her hand. What do we do? She looked up at the sky, blinking slowly. We survive long enough to make this matter. Far above, the judge ship turned. For now, it would not destroy, but it would watch and wait, because one final test remained. The fortress trembled around them. Jake and Lyra stood in the central chamber, where the walls pulsed with alien light. Above them, a giant viewport showed the blackness of space and the judge ship, silent and watchful. Red signals blinked as it ran its endless assessments. Jake drew a steady breath. His heart thundered, but his voice was calm in his mind. "It's time." Lyra reached for his hand. Her glow was strong again, but her body was frail. She leaned on him, eyes full of hope and fear. "If I bond with you again, it will kill me," she warned, "but it might save us both." Jake's chest tightened. He remembered every memory she'd shared, the joy of her childhood, the terror of betrayal, the longing for peace. He remembered his own guilt, his own desperate wish to make things right, and he felt something new, love. "Then let me choose," he replied softly. "I want you with me, no matter the cost." She closed her eyes. A single tear glowed on her cheek. Then she nodded. Lyra stepped forward to the center of the chamber. The ancient machinery there stirred, sensing her. A tall crystalline column descended from the ceiling, humming with power. "Prepare for final bond ritual," the system intoned. "Life exchange protocol, engage." Jake approached. The column's surface rippled like water. Lyra touched it first, her fingers leaving trails of light. Then Jake placed his hand beside hers. Their fingertips met, and energy arced between them. In that moment, everything slowed. Jake saw Lyra's smile, felt her warmth, heard her thoughts. In perfect clarity, "I trust you." Then the judge's voice filled both their minds. "Anomaly confirmed. Life sacrifice imminent. Decision, observe." Lyra's glow flared. Pain shot through her veins. She gasped and sank to one knee, but Jake held her up, steadying her. "Stay with me," he whispered. "We end this together." She managed a small laugh, bright, fragile. Then she closed her eyes and pressed her forehead to his. A wave of light burst from the column, flooding the chamber with blinding radiance. Jake's world went white. He woke on soft ground, warm sunlight on his face. He blinked, confused. The chamber was gone. He was outside, at dawn, on a hill overlooking a calm sea. Lyra lay beside him, silent as stone, no glow, no breath. Jake's heart broke. He shook her gently. "Lyra?" He called into the quiet, her eyes open, dark, alive. She was weak, but smiling. The faintest shimmer traced her skin. "You did it," she whispered. "We did it," Jake corrected. He kissed her forehead. Together. Above them, the judge ship hovered, then turned and slipped into the black of space. It made no sound, left no trace, only the promise of peace. Lyra took his hand. Between them, the bond remained a bridge of memory and emotion, stronger than any machine or law. They rose together, stepping into a new world where humans and aliens could finally learn to share. And as the first light of day broke over the horizon, Jake knew their choice had changed everything.